numerical superiority and tolerance for high casualties are the main reasons for Russia's advance on the front lines. It's telling that not only their commanders, but even their immediate families are indifferent to the fate of Russian soldiers. A telling incident occurred during a recent interview that Ukrainian journalist Dmitry Karpenko recorded with a captured Russian soldier for his YouTube channel. During such interviews, captured Russian occupiers are given the opportunity to call their families. These calls often lead to unexpected results. This is precisely what happened to yet another Russian soldier. In a conversation with a Ukrainian journalist, the 19-year-old prisoner explained that he has a living mother in Russia, but he grew up in an orphanage. This is because his mother, in a drunken stupor, tried to burn him in a stove as a child. He also has 3 brothers and 2 sisters. During the interview, it was decided to call one of the sisters Ekaterina. The occupier hoped to ask her to go to the military registration and enlistment office and have him added to the official Russian list of prisoners of war. However, the call went awry from the very beginning. Instead, his sister's boyfriend answered the phone and flatly refused to hand it over to her, pretending not to understand why she needed to talk to her brother, who was in enemy captivity. Several minutes were spent trying to persuade the man to finally let the prisoner speak to his sister. This situation surprised even the journalist, who had been recording interviews with prisoners for 3 years. "This is crazy. In all my 1,500 prisoners, I've never seen anything like this. When my brother says, 'Give the phone to my sister,' some guy says, 'I won't.' Are you completely Russian? Are you even normal? If your brother or sister were in captivity somewhere, would you want to talk to them?" The journalist snapped, addressing the person on the other end of the line. The person who answered the phone was also surprised that the Ukrainians were allowing prisoners to call their families. "So recently he shot at you, roughly speaking, and today you're worried about him talking to his sister?" The Russian replied with a laugh. Meanwhile, a woman's laughter could be clearly heard in the background. The prisoner confirmed that it was his sister's voice. After the journalist lost his composure and ended the call, the captive Russian admitted that he was in shock at his relative's behavior. As reported earlier, Ukrainian journalist Sergei Ivanov published an interview with a Russian prisoner of war who approached him during filming in the camp and stated that he does not support Putin and has Ukrainian roots due to his wife being from Kyiv. The prisoner claimed to know Russian boxer Nikolai Valuev and wanted to see him become president of the Russian Federation. He also claimed to be personally acquainted with Zelenski and aspired to join the International Legion of the Armed Forces of Ukraine.
Belgian trade unions on Monday called for a 3-day strike in the country over planned government austerity measures. According to Associated Press, it happened after the Belgian government announced it had reached an agreement on the country's budget for 2026, which includes cuts and reforms to pensions, the retirement age, purchasing power, and social welfare. Pressure is also high from the European Commission, the EU's main executive body, which expects Belgium to have a budget deficit of 5.3% of its GDP in 2025, far from the 3% limit imposed by the EU treaties, according to its autumn economic forecast presented last week. Public transport was nearly halted across the country on Monday, and in Brussels, bus, tram and metro services were severely impacted, while several trains were cancelled. International trains to France, the UK, the Netherlands or Germany were running, but some disruptions could occur, the Belgian National Railway Company said. Public transport was affected on Monday, while on Tuesday the strike was expected to impact all public services, extending on Wednesday to a strike for all workers. Several similar strikes have occurred since January 2025 and the start of Belgian Prime Minister Bart de Wever's new government, peaking with a national demonstration in October that gathered over 100,000 protesters, according to trade unions.
Well, we are on strike for 3 days because they make a lot of economy in railways. They have like 675 billion of euros of economy. So we're also against the fact that the pensions of the railway personnel is increasing, and we have to work harder and longer. So instead of going on pension on the age of 62, we have to stay till 65, 67 years old.
Alors ça dépend vraiment au cas par cas. Là, le message, c'est pour les voyageurs de consulter le planificateur de voyage, parce qu'évidemment, il y a une partie qui est sur le réseau belge, on va dire, mais aussi en dehors. Donc là, ça dépend vraiment au cas par cas, mais il y a des perturbations qui sont arrivées.
Dans vers centrale via la ligne de 9h20 voie 20 pour